all beings seek happiness or contentment. All actions and drives, all karma is in the pursuit, in the effort to achieve a state of happiness or content, satisfaction. Being in a position, a state of being, in a way in which there is no wanting, a lack of want. To keep it simple, everything everyone does is to be happy, to achieve happiness. Now, the issue is, and where folk fall short, is their perception of what will make them happy or bring them to a state of happiness. So, everything that you enjoy or you're drawn towards in life, everything which catches the attention of your awareness, pulls you towards it, your desire towards it, a feeling, a sensation of wanting. So, if you want a partner in life, right? It's because you feel that that is what you need to achieve a state of happiness or contentment. You believe that if you have that thing, this example, okay, here we're using a partner. You believe if you have a partner, all right, or whatever the thing is for you that you desire, that when you have it, the desire to have it will cease, and you will be happy. Now, the problem with this is that it creates an endless loop of seeking for what we call happiness, or a state of being satisfied, being content, in external things. And the fundamental issue there, right, within this issue, is that we do not control external events. You will never be able to control anything in the external world. You can work with it, but you can't affect it or control it directly. So, you could get a partner, and that could take away the want, and you could have a temporary state of satisfaction, a temporary state of happiness, because you have a partner, or whatever the thing is that you desire. But outside of your control, one day your partner will be taken from you. Just due to the nature of existence, it is fate that all things you receive shall be taken from you in time. Even your body, even your mind, will be returned to the Creator who gifted you all things. So, nothing can be kept. Therefore, if we seek to establish our happiness in the attainment of things, or even in the aversion and avoiding of things that we we wish to stay away from. So the opposite of desires are aversions. Either, if you are trying to sustain a state of happiness or contentment via any external thing, via any object in the world, then you are setting yourself up for failure. You're setting yourself up to be unhappy. Now, obviously, if all beings naturally seek to be in a state of happiness, and all desires which arise as a form of compass to try to direct beings towards that which will make them happy, then why is it the case that folk seek happiness in temporary objects and external things, or in the voiding of these temporary objects and external things, either through obtaining them or through avoiding them? Because of ignorance and a lack of knowledge of the good, a lack of knowledge of what it means to be happy. So most folk aren't sabotaging their own happiness via seeking it in external objects or in the avoidance of external objects, because they have some twisted desire or intent to sabotage their own state of being and live in misery. The reason is because they are ignorant of the fact that this is a path which is destined to manifest endless and perpetual misery and suffering. That if you walk this path in life and you seek happiness in anything, or from avoiding anything, an example of that would be, say, sickness. If you cannot be happy because you are diseased or sick or frail, and you would wish to avoid these states so as to be happy, things that are beyond your control. In the same way, like trying to seek things beyond your control and obtain things outside of your control, to own what is not yours, you set yourself up to be disappointed. These forms of expectations on life inevitably culminate in suffering and disappointment. And again, fundamentally, that is because all external things are temporary. No external thing can last, nor the absence of an external thing. Every external state is constantly shifting and changing. Therefore, there is no stability in the external universe. And if you establish yourself or your happiness in the external universe, it will too wobble and sway and lack foundation. And therefore you will suffer. But if you can establish your happiness and your desire to be happy within your own self, within that which you control, then you can achieve and obtain true happiness and contentment. You see, We seek happiness in external things, but in reality, we fail to recognize our own nature. If we feel like we are a temporary form moving through this external world of temporary forms, if we are merely just a person with a human body and mind who must avoid this and seek that for gratification and pleasure, then we limit ourselves to this form of perpetual seeking and perpetual disappointment. But if we can simply recognize who and what we are beyond this limited form that we are aware of, well then happiness is simple. Because happiness is our true nature. But what does this mean? That happiness is our true nature. That means we are happiness. So, one of our biggest issues is, one of our biggest dilemmas, which causes us suffering, is that we believe we are temporary human forms existing within this world. We miss the reality, we miss the fact that we are indeed actually not of this world. We simply manifest in this world and move through these what are called avatars or bodies, move with these vehicles. So, deluded to the reality of our own nature, we move through the world ignorant that we are inherently happy, that is the nature of our very being. And so instead we seek for ourselves out in the world around us. We seek to find fulfillment in pleasure, indulgences, thrills, excitement, drama, emotions, all the sentimental things in life, all the fun and the fear. If we just look truly at our own experience right now, we can admit, we can say to ourselves that yes, I, right now, am aware of my thoughts. I can hear my voice, you can hear my voice. You're aware of your mind, your body. For a moment, if we just pay attention to the sense of perception, looking through our eyes, and then while paying attention, being present, and close our eyes, and the visual world around us, the images of the world, cease to exist. And if we open our eyes again, the world comes back into manifestation. The light of the world reveals all the forms. close our eyes again, all the forms of the world disappear. Open our eyes, and the universe is manifested before us. And during this process, each time we close our eyes and see nothing, or open our eyes and see the world around us, it's the same seeing, it's the same awareness behind both perceptions. So whether or not you are looking at the world around you, or if you close your eyes and you're looking at nothing, you are still there, present through the entire thing, observing the perception of the world, and in contrast, a lack of perception of the world. So even when the entire world disappears, there is no perception of the world, and you disappear, because if there is no external world, there is just you and your awareness, aware of nothing. Yet you are still there. That means you cannot be in the world. If you were the body and the mind in the world, when you closed your eyes and the whole world disappeared from your perception, you would disappear because you are in the world. But you can close your eyes and you can see the world disappearing, and open your eyes and see the world manifesting back into your perception. Therefore, you are not in the world you perceive. You must be the perception or awareness behind the world which you are aware of. A lot of the time, we will be deluded and we will think that we are our bodies. But in the same way, if you have a body, okay, then you cannot be your body. Because you are you, and your body is your body. It's something you possess, or have, or use, or function through. So if that's the case, how could you be a human being? Obviously, in some sense, you are a human being because you have a human body. But again, it's less that you are a human, and it's more that you have a human. You have a human being. You are not a human being. I am not a human being. I have a human being. It may seem confusing to speak of it in this manner, but really, it makes a lot more sense. It's a lot more true to say that I have a human being. Not that I am. In the same way, I am not this body, I am not my mind, because it is my mind. And this is my body. So, if all physical things, all forms which manifest in the world are objects which I, as awareness, am aware of, okay? So, again, I have a body, I am not my body. I have a mind, I am not my mind. If this is the case, and just due to the nature of things, and if we just think clearly and look clearly, to have anything, the self must be there first in order to have it, for there to be any identity. it becomes obvious when we just look honestly at our experience before us that we cannot be anything physical. We cannot be limited, and we cannot be physical forms, because we are aware of all physical forms. Our minds will jump back in and try to say, oh, this is some type of nonsense, this is wishy-washy, of course I'm a human being, of course I'm a body. But when you really, really look at it and look at your experience, if you have a human body, you can't be the human body, because you have it. And it's the same with all things in existence. There is no form that you can be. Yourself cannot exist in the physical dimension, in this reality, because you are aware of this reality. Therefore, the self is prior to and behind this world, perceiving it. Good morning. So what's the point of all this? Well, if you can understand the true nature of things, that you aren't a physical form, that you have a physical avatar that you use to move through the world, then things get a lot more simple and a lot more easy. There is no complication in life. We create complication for ourselves. We create drama. Ultimately, life is simple. It's beautiful. And it's satisfying. There is no need for you to suffer. There's no need for you to live limited or in confusion. You have every right to know yourself and to be content. And again, the first step towards this is to not place your happiness or the attainment of happiness in external things, neither in the avoidance of them or in the attainment of them, but to recognize your true nature and that you are happiness itself. So what you seek is ultimately yourself. All beings and all things move in existence towards their own self. Everything that happens, everything that anything does is a movement, a returning to itself. There's a bit of a wobble around, maybe a few loops along the way. But everything that anything does is moving towards itself. And that is why all beings seek happiness, and they delude themselves and seek it in external things and fail to obtain it and lose it. That is the looping, until they eventually return to themselves and find that happiness, which is their own self. So there is a formless, eternal self which is happy inherently, and it is the I am, the core of all things. All of existence is the dream of the self, And it is pure bliss, pure happiness, manifested in numerous eternal forms, which all seek to return to itself, to achieve happiness and contentment. And everything that's happening in the world is just a little bit of a distraction, things wandering in circles, trying to find themselves. So remember, don't waste your life trying to obtain or avoid external things. Instead, try to find yourself, because that is where you will be happy, because you are happiness. That is the state of your being. Take it easy. Catch us next time.